Okay, we are recording. We are back. Okay, yeah, that's a nice background, but that's pretty sweet right there. All right, so let's decide in the order we want to do these things. So we have multiple things going on in multiple places, which makes this super interesting right now. Okay, but we're going to see if we can work through it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump back to Sylowen and Dahan in the middle of the square, trying to get the armor on and get ready for whatever's coming after them. Okay. So, and there's Kara. I didn't see there. The cat was camouflaging. That's funny. All right. So, does anybody have any questions moving forward or anything else they think we've missed, or are we good to go? Sean's like, I'm ready to rock and roll, buddy. We're good. All right. That's cool. Good deal. All right. So, not the greatest dexterity checks. You did okay, but Dahan's having a hard time holding that stuff up and getting you exactly into what you need to do. So here's what we're going to do. You're at the cusp in the middle of this large, kind of like a courtyard kind of area in Skywatch. It's not exactly, there's no court here, but it's a large open area with a fountain in the center of it. Okay. Now we know that the horn has alerted people. They're trying to make their way to you. I have written down and have kept track of what everybody's doing and how they're doing on their throws. It'll be a few turns before they get there, but some are doing much better than others. Okay. As you are up there, we need to roll initiative with Kara and Dahan versus the oncoming tide of these things to see if they're able to get to you all before you are ready to go. So let me get something out here and get that prepared. Okay. So I'll roll initiative for Dahan. Grab this right here.
I just want to say that since Dahan's doing so badly at putting my armor on, I'll be like, have you never dressed a woman before? Yeah.
And if you, as you say that, Dahan is trying to find a way to fit some of the other pieces over the one wing. And he says, not one like you, Sylowen, not one like you.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yes, and as well you should, right? Okay, because that's all bards really hear about themselves. It's just compliments.
Precisely.
That's what I've understood. Okay, so we got. Okay, so Sylowen, what was your initiative roll?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't roll it yet.
Well, what in the hell have you been doing?
Actually not bad. 19.
Okay. Okay, for Dahan. Damn. Okay.
Dahan do good?
You did really good.
Not counting that one. All right, am I rolling initiative too?
No, you're rolling me a dexterity check.
Dex.
You're not there yet.
Nat 20.
Oh, it's a yeet.
And +3, so 23.
Okay. I will say by the time you get done with your sprint, Tamyra, you are going to end up being like within 30 foot of the fountain where they were at. Okay. You're coming in from an opposite direction. Okay. So as you're coming in to the top of Skywell and you're running across this place and you're going past the crow's nest and you're right there at the crow's nest practically, and she's up ahead of it in the main, whatever we're going to call this place. All right, we got to come up with a name for it. It's not the courtyard. It's the large.
The quad.
We'll call it the quad. We'll call it the social area, the social quad. And then the direction that you're seeing all these things start to form up and stuff, Kara, is off in the distance in the alleyway to your right. Okay? Tamyra, as you were coming up that way, you roll me a perception check, please.
19.
Ooh.
A 19. As you were coming up past some of the buildings, you started to notice shapes and things forming as well coming out of this. And it almost made you stop. And then when you saw them all coming out of the shadows and stuff, that increased your sense of urgency to get to her as fast as you could. Okay? So, as you're running past all these long shadows and stuff, trying to make your way the best you can to the scream and the horn blowing, which you didn't expect both of those things to be at the same time. I'm going to roll something here. And then, okay, as you were doing this, all of a sudden, a sword and a shadowy arm reaches out from a building that you get just a little bit too close to and rolls to attack you as if it's reaching out of a building, just like a ghost or something of that nature. As it does, it misses you. Okay, so I'll just say you're running out. You got your shield out and your flail both just booking in, or how are you doing it?
Yeah, I'm full battle ready, full charge ahead.
Okay, we'll say you just, as you did, you just threw your shield up and knocked it away as you were making your way towards them. All right. When you get there, Sylowen and Dahan are just now starting to get their armor and stuff put on. And as you look up in the sky, you see the silhouette of Ignatious as he's flown up to meet you, and he lands at the very top of a building off in the distance. He seems to be about 40 or so foot up, and he's perched up there, and you recognize him because you can see his staff has a glow on the top of it, and it's illuminating his silver and white hair. As it's long, it's blowing in his backwards. As he has his staff up on top of one of the roofs, he's looking down upon you guys. Okay? With that, you've got your initiatives. You guys were able to get your stuff on Sylowen before any of them reached you.
That's good.
Okay? And as they did, and as Ignatius lands on that rooftop up there, all of a sudden there's 5 or 6 of their bodies that start to come up out of the shadows as if they're literally crawling up out of puddles of shadow like water puddles. Yes, Kara?
Because Brahmas was in this area too, so has Brahmas made it to us?
He's not there yet.
Okay.
He didn't roll so good. he didn't do as good as I thought he would. Okay.
Thanks, Jeremy.
I know. Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, we'll let him know. So, but he's en route, or should be, as far as you're concerned.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Well, I know he's on en route. So.
Right on. Okay. So now let's go ahead and talk about you all getting off the ship. Okay. So, are you continuing to run Sha-dae and Miasha and heading towards the sound of the horn that was being blown, which was kind of originally the plan, or are you trying to hold your ground on the Dreadnaught? What is it? What is the main consensus here? What are you guys doing?
What do you think?
Sha-dae is going to. I personally, Sha-dae would stay and try and see if we can, because it seems to be like this is the source of.
Yeah, that's
things
what I'm
coming
thinking
out.
too.
Yeah, but just a DM note: I am about at half life right now, so.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
just nearly there.
with that, Aola steps up, and he looks like he's packing something in this gun where he's going to blast inside this doorway to kind of hold these things back and stop them from rushing out of whatever of the ship's bows or after you guys to kind of help with your retreat. That's all he knows to do. Is anyone saying anything to him? As he has cleared you, trying to get you guys cleared out of the way as he's packing that large Sky Dragon musket, getting ready to point at the doorway. Go.
Sha-dae is just gonna say, like, she's in there by herself. That's it. She's just, she's gonna get up before she like starts coughing up something. Yeah.
Okay. In seeing that, Aeolus takes the powder and looks at it and finishes packing the gun up and looks at it and holds it with two hands. And he takes it and he throws it up on his shoulder and he looks in the doorway and he draws his own sword out, which is a long sword. It's a wicked looking thing. He goes, I didn't think I'd have to pay you back this soon. Looks like today's the day. He looks at you and he says, go to the horn, go to the cries. Sylowen was screaming earlier. Your winged friend. I owe her one. Now, you know what he's referencing. Okay? You know that the Dreadnaught came to the help of the Lylung when those black tentacles came out of the sky. Mm-hmm. And if it weren't for the Dreadnaught, the Lylung probably would have been crushed and taken.
Mm.
This is Aeolus's chance to return the favor from one airship captain to another. And he is looking to be quite the hero at the moment. What is it you're saying to that reaction? To that, what are you saying, Miasha, in that moment?
I think at this point she's sort of too absorbed with watching that hole to really react to the conversation that's going on. Sort of like a half listening, half like not listening. So I don't think she would say anything.
Okay. Sha-dae
will turn to Aeolus and just be like, get her out of there if you can. And then at that, she's going to grab Miasha like by the collar and kind of just pull her in the direction of the horn. And just come on, and just like, come on.
Are you able to shadow step with a person or is it by yourself?
No, it's just me. I can't I'm not shadow stepping, I'm just running.
I do have 55 feet of movement for an hour, so I should be okay.
Yeah, she'll be able to keep up with me because I have 55 feet movement.
Yeah, so your guys' movement, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it's like the race of the fair where they're shooting the water and shit and the horses are going like this, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do that with you. But you're all moving very fast. You've cast that spell, and you also have improved speed because you're being a monk.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are well into your 40s. She's at 50, plus your dexterity. You guys are moving along fairly well, and you're headed to the source of Sylowen at the fountain. Okay? As this happens, you keep rolling this over in your head. These main three. I'm curious, what are Sha-dae's thoughts on that as you run that direction, knowing now that Sylowen has let out a scream and the horn has went off?
Well, right now, Sha-dae's thoughts are all over the place, considering who these main three could be. Does it mean the leaders of the cities? Does it mean the people that she's been tracking and she's been watching? Who it could be? She just doesn't. It just throws everything that she's been researching out for a loop. You know. Okay. You haven't heard or conveyed this information, if anyone else yet. It was just spoken to you, correct? Yeah.
Okay. So at that point, when you guys take off, you look back and you realize that Aselair has stayed on the ship too. And Aselair stops and looks at you guys for just a long moment. As you take off, he does not move. And once he does, he seems like he firms up and turns as if he's going back into the ship, that he's not going to leave her because you have places to go. Okay? Is there anything you're saying to him in that moment as you two meet eyes, as you're running off and realize he's not beside you?
Sha-dae will turn back briefly and just shout out, "Hey, oi, next time you need my help, don't be such a dick about it."
Okay. Aselair picks up that saber that he has and points it in front of his face and says, "Until next time." and then turns with the overcoat flapping behind him as he heads down into those doors following Aeolus. You hear a large blast from the hallways behind you guys as you guys are running past the docks, and now you're heading back towards that main, what's it called, Kara?
The quad.
The quad.
Quad.
Okay. Okay. It's where Will Ferrell was going to run naked in Old School. It's going to go up through the quad, down through the gymnasium. That's the good stuff, man. All right. I saw Old School the other day. It's a good movie. On that note, okay, Sylowen and Daehon, as these creatures seem to be forming up and wanting to come out as one main expanse of the roadway, you can see Ignatius's light on his staff seems to want to keep them at bay to a certain degree. Okay? As he does, he runs from one rooftop to the other, going away from you guys, and it seems like he is chasing them away, almost like you've seen a cleric turn undead or turn evil or things of that nature. It seems like he's having some kind of effect on them, as if he's trying to herd them. What is it that you're doing, Sylowen?
Am I dressed?
You are now, yes.
Okay. Where are they in comparison to where we are?
I would say they're about 50 to 75 feet away in a direction of a wider alleyway that goes in a direction back towards the mountain. Like if you had the central place where everybody is, you're coming up from this direction, you're coming from Skywell. Okay? Airships are up here on the outside, away from the mountain. These things seem to be doubling back and going back towards the mountain at a different angle. Okay, from that central gathering area. Okay.
I think I'm gonna hold my reaction to see what Daehon does.
Okay.
Daehon.
Daehon looks up there and he says, Iggy, always trying to have all the fun. And he stomps his foot on the ground. As he stomps his foot, it sounds a lot heavier and thicker than what you would have assumed. And when you look down, Sylowen, onto his foot, you could swear that it looks like he has a large hoof on the end of his foot, and then another hoof. And as you notice, little particles of rock and things start to float up and hover around him as he starts to roll his back. You don't know that he's getting to be more muscular, but he is starting to, it's like he's pumped up. And as he does, his teeth grit and he leans forward and he starts taking off running in that direction after these creatures. And as he does, it leaves these thunderous stomps behind him. He is channeling some kind of monster in him to do this. You've seen him, you understand that's his nature. Okay? So he's beginning the channeling of a behemoth. And he's headed in that direction, leaving a pile of rubble and stuff. Like the earth seems to gravitate towards him a little bit with the remains of some of the street as he's headed in that direction.
All right, I guess I'm just gonna full dash action now.
Okay. If you say it backwards, I wonder what kind of words you can get out of it.
Weird stuff, I'm sure.
I was waiting for some good shit. Okay. Tamyra, you're just now showing up, and as soon as you do, you see them taking off in this direction towards Ignatious. He seems to be herding them from up top of the rooftop somehow. What is it that you're saying or doing once you get within shouting distance of the group?
Can I cast my thing again and jolt myself towards them?
You can. You just got to watch your MP. You can do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast the what was it called?
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate again.
Heaven's Gate.
That
Okay.
way I can join the pack.
Awesome. Tamyra, you guys, Sylowen and Daehon and me, I see Tamyra show up like 10 foot ahead of us, just boom, like Raiden from Mortal Kombat. Like
I just Thor, like I'm Thor from the sky, and I just land.
Pretty much, man. This is pretty much exactly what you're seeing.
Is not even surprised.
She's not going to give you any credit, Kara. She's like, that's
But
old.
that's such a Tamyra thing to do.
Typical Tamyra.
Typical Tamyra. So, Up on that, Sean, your character, and Rachel, your character, show up just in enough time to see a large crack of lightning come down from the sky, and you can see the blonde hair up in the distance going up a direction. It seems like they're chasing down something. Roll perception checks, both of you. I want to see if you notice Ignatious.
That's a 10.
Oops.
So 12.
You don't
Dang.
exactly notice him up there with his big light and his big wings on the rooftops of this place. You can't quite make him out, but you notice the rest of the group seems to be going in that direction.
Perception squad.
Right, the perception squad, right on. What are you two doing in light of this?
We're just, I don't know, Sha-dae is just gonna kind of like nudge Miasha and motion toward them and just keep heading towards them.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty much it.
Catch
Just
up with
keep moving.
Is Adora still out?
Yeah, Isadora is following behind me, flying.
Behind you. Okay. Okay, that will work. All right. As you guys make your way in that direction, all of a sudden, Ignatious comes down to what would appear to be a lower rooftop, maybe one just as high as the roof you see behind me. And you're in a place that looks very similar to the screen that I've been showing all night long. Okay. And on the arch of one of the main rooftops, maybe 30 foot up or something, Ignatius, you see he has in one hand, he has that bag of stuff, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he says to you as he yells down, and he looks back over to the side, he takes his staff for a minute and he shines the light a little bit, and some of the imp's arms were starting to creep up and get a hold of his cloak on the roof and stuff like that. And as he shines that light on top of his staff, it seems like it holds him at bay for just a minute. And he looks down to you and he says, he tells you some directions, practically.
Mm-hmm.
He says, the mask is made of 3. If we can slay the 3 parts of the mask, I can use this on them and banish them back to it. I don't think it would be that easy to destroy. And it seems like now would be as good a time as any to get started on this. I don't know how much longer I can hold them off.
So Sha-dae will reach into her pouch or whatever, reach some of that ash out of the urn that she had, kind of try and see if she can throw it onto one of the nearby shadow creatures that are nearby.
Okay. As you do, none are exactly out and about completely and fully yet because he has that glowing thing.
Yeah.
So you would hesitate. You would get the ash, but you would hesitate. Yeah. Okay. And now I want to do something here. I'm going to pause this for just a second, and I want to bring up something so you can see kind of what this might look like, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Pause. Okay, resume. Okay, here we go. And I want to share screen. Haven't done this in a while. Let's share sound. Let's just make it this one. And share. All right, guys. Here's what you're looking at. Brahmas comes running up from behind you guys. And for a machine, he looks like he might be out of breath. Sylowen, you can only imagine that it took a few minutes for Brahmas to get back into his form to make it back to you, so he had a bit of backtracking to do. I'm going to move Brahmas further back than the rest of you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take Oma out because Oma did not make it to this. There we go. We have Sha-dae and Miasha. That'll be bringing up the rear of this. Okay. we're going to have Daehon and Sylowen up in the front of this. Okay. Tamyra, I'm going to put you kind of in between them. That's kind of the order of events, correct? Well, no, you flashed in ahead of them, didn't you?
Yeah, because I can only run like 80 feet if I do a full dash, and she moved 100.
Right, okay. So, Tamyra, if I had to pick you a spot here, where would you like to say from that location you'd like to center your character at? Where in here would you like to go?
Surprise me.
There's a stairway here. There's the main floor here. All kinds of good stuff. I can just
Spot.
right there's fine.
Yeah, right there's fine.
Okay. And Ignatious up here. I will put him on this rooftop right here. Okay, guys?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, from this moment, you're noticing that some of these things are starting to come into view and starting to come into shape. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And you're saying you've got one handful clutched of that dust, correct?
Yeah.
Sha-dae? And you're
Yes.
looking for something to throw it. As you do, Ignatious is up top here, and he has a spell circle that is emanating from him, creating quite a bit of bright light. Okay?
Mhm.
As he dims this down, he lets these things start to reveal themselves and lets them come out of the shadows so they can be confronted. Okay?
Uh-huh.
As he does that, several different things come into view. I'll get that in just 1 minute. Okay. All of a sudden, right beside Sylowen, looks to be some small shadow goblin that's barely transparent, with glowing red eyes and a dagger held high with its mouth open, screaming. Appears on a stairwell just 5 foot above Sylowen's head to her right. On a rooftop up in the distance that you guys can see, seems to be another smaller one. This one seems to have some kind of ball, some kind of magical energy. Like it might be some kind of spellcaster to some degree, standing on top of the rooftop in the far distance. And then Tamyra, right beside you, you see one that seems to be holding a skull in one hand and a glowing purple sword in the other with glowing purple eyes that is staring you down no more than 10 foot away from your current location. On the distant rooftop, you also see another one of these. It seems to have some kind of spells weaving within its hand, staring down at you. Those are the ones that you see currently in your immediate area. I'll give everyone a chance to say something real quick, and then it's time to roll initiative unless there's something else you can add.
I am gonna have to hop off, so I'm happy to roll initiative. But I'm gonna have to hop off in like 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, if you guys want to, then we've got the fight ready. It's up. You guys want to delve into this for a little bit, or do you want to hold the fight off until the next time we play?
I think
Maybe we
we
should
hold
hold
it.
it off.
It's actually hold it off. This is a great spot to stop and
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So we can
So
roll initiative if you want us to. So it's already ready for next time.
that sounds good. Okay, so let me get my sheet out. And hopefully Danny can play and he'll take up Daehon and shit, and it'll be fantastic. And Jeremy will be there and he can take up Brahmas. Okay, so I'm going to roll for Ignatious real quick. Oh, God. Okay, I'm going to roll for Day. Go ahead and roll your alls up, and I'll ask you what they are here in just a minute, okay? Okay, Sylowen, what did you get?
Dylan.
I got a 17,
It's not too shabby.
whopping 13 base.
Nice. Okay, Tamyra, what'd you get?
18.
I got a
18.
9.
Well, I rolled a 9, but I have +9 to initiative, so
Okay, Sha-dae, what did you end up with?
28.
God bless. Okay, and Miasha, what'd you get?
24.
24. Okay, so this map is big. It is about 3 times the size of the screen you're looking at right now. It is a large rectangle showing a part of Skywatch, a part of the upper city, one of the places where the commoners would dwell. There's a lot going on here. So the information we know to take on for next time is that Ignatious says if you can put a powder on a certain special 3 of these, of that magical item that Vander gave you guys, that should be able to condemn them and send their souls back into the goblin mask. Okay? And then stop this from happening. Okay? As far as the ship, we know that Aeolus and Aselair are headed into the bowels of it to make sure to see if they could save Gleandria from whatever fate was coming down on her. It seemed like these things were angered with her and trying to get back at her, possibly. The actual mask itself, it's still held by Isadora, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you need to keep that in mind. And Isadora hasn't had physical contact with you since you guys were running out of that place, correct? She was flying out of the... Okay. Write a note down of that to keep that in mind. Miasha, is there anything you wanted to go over real quick before we call it a night?
No, I'm all good. I'm settled.
Okay. So, having said all of that fun stuff, I will go ahead and stop share. Okay. I'll go ahead and get ready to stop the recording, and we'll bullshit about this for just a few more minutes and try to figure out when we can do this again. If it starts being difficult to do this on Wednesdays, we can stick strictly to Sundays. That way everybody's more available. But we'll just kind of see how that goes. It's all good. So thanks again. I know it was a little bit getting there, but it was pretty action-packed. I tried to push it as fast forward as I possibly could to get us here, but we're here now. So we're getting ready to, I hope we don't regret it. I hope we don't regret it. With that, I'm Brian Kynes, and we will see you all for episode 29 on Sunday, hopefully. So take care. Yeah.